On this episode of Arts Weekly, I'll be speaking with Brad Beauchamp and Todd Frymier from the University of St. Francis School of Creative Arts.
Biblical stylized set, but it's more urban. We've got a great graffiti artist that is just really just tagging the heck out of the stage.
And Craig Humphrey and Jessica Butler from the Fort Wayne Civic Theater.
Is to make sure that whatever character I'm playing and whatever character choices I make, like how the character is going to speak or walk or even sing, that's something that could really happen in real life.
This is Arts Weekly.
Arts Weekly is a production of the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design. IPFW, the energy of arts.
Hello, this is Arts Weekly, and I'm Chuck O'Connor, your host. Joining me is Brad Beauchamp, director of Jesus Christ Superstar, and Todd Frymier, who plays Judas. They are here to talk about the upcoming opening of Jesus Christ Superstar at the University of St. Francis. Thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So many people know of St. Francis as being having a very strong program in the visual arts, but you also do music and theater, drama out there. Is that not correct?
Right, yes. Rick Cartwright contacted me several years ago, and he thought there was a need for some drama for their students beside the usual student drama on a college campus. But he thought it would be nice to start a club, a drama club. They have had one in the past, and it kind of, fell by the wayside. And he'd seen some of my work before and wanted to know if I would, come on board and just kind of direct a couple of shows a year. And so we've been, this is, I think, our third or fourth season. We do a fall production and a spring production, usually a play and a musical or vice versa each year. And it's been the last couple of years.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you guys are actually doing some very fine work out there. But you have Jesus Christ Superstar opening up on March 25th. Brad, you're the director. And tell us a little bit about the play and why you chose it.
Well, some higher powers than me helped choose it, but I thought, well, it's a great piece. I've always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to do that show. I've always either done a play or a musical or book musical. This is not a book musical. I mean, this is one of the original rock operas, and that's what's very exciting and intriguing and difficult for me, because it's taking me as a director outside of my little comfort zone.
But what is the difference between a book musical, as you say, and a rock opera?
Well, there's all music all the time, and there's
just like an opera.
Just like an opera, and it's rock music. And, a book musical, you have, when the dialogue can't move the story along, then dance will move the story. And when dance can't finish the thought, then music will jump in and, do its course. This is all music all the time, story, action. It's fun.
Well, it's fun.
A lot of fun.
And this was actually written by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, his partner Tim Rice, one of his early musicals, maybe perhaps his first one, I don't know. A lot of people know him as going on to do Cats and Evita and, of course, Phantom of the Opera. What's the difference do you see in his musical style from his early Jesus Christ Superstar to some of his later musicals, and Andrew Lloyd Webber?
Wow. His styles are still the same. He always has the same. There's a phrase in his music that is always the same. We were talking about it the other night as Greg was playing our music director, and it's like this is a pattern throughout. And I think in all of his musicals, he has that same music pattern throughout in some of his different musicals. This one just happens to be more on the rock side of it.
But you see some similarities. Now, Todd, a question for you. You played Judas, the bad guy.
Well,
yeah, I guess. Not really, but actually, and some we'll maybe talk about this a little bit later.
Right.
This has a fairly more sympathetic view towards Judas, which may be a little bit controversial. But you played Judas. You played Judas before in Godspell.
yeah.
And how is it to play the same role twice in two different musicals?
Well, it's actually it's interesting. It's fun for an actor to be able to do something like that. Two totally different takes on what Judas was about, and like Jesus Christ Superstar focuses a lot on Judas. You kind of see a lot of where Judas was coming from. It's written through a lot of his viewpoints of how he sees it. Whereas in Godspell, my feeling was Judas. In Godspell, Judas is there to particularly be a villain, because Godspell is a little bit more. We've got this, and it's kind of a, for the lack of a better term, it's kind of a bubblegummy kind of a show, bubblegum poppy kind of a show. And you kind of got to have a good guy, and you kind of got to have a bad guy. And in Jesus Christ Superstar, there's a lot of interpretation whether Judas was bad, what he was doing was bad, or
Yeah. I mean, do you find that perhaps the play sometimes is controversial, especially for some Christians? I mean, I quote Tim Rice. He says, it happens that we don't see Christ as God, but simply as the right man at the right time at the right place. Brad, St. Francis is a Christian university. How do you guys deal with that, or is it not an issue for you, or are you concerned about it?
It's not really an issue for me. I think it's what I like about it is it's the story of those two guys. I mean, it's still relevant today. I mean, the whole political thing where they maybe thought Jesus was this political hotshot that was wanting to take over, the other guys. I mean, somebody's always chasing somebody, and the political priests of the time thought he was chasing them, and he was out for their jobs. Same thing going on today over there. I mean, we have the same issues, the same problems going on over in that part of the world as well, and I think it still parallels today, those issues. And I think, taking the whole, never mix, politics and religion, and here we are putting them all together in a musical theater production.
It's like how could you flop in a night? Yeah, I know, but actually it's gone on to be a very, very well-received play.
Exactly. And I was reading some things I don't know where. In Australia, I think there was a group of nuns, sisters, that actually got sued, I believe, by Weber and Rice because they were doing the production, because they loved it so much, but they weren't paying royalties.
Well,
they didn't mean to, right?
Yeah.
They didn't mean to. They didn't. I mean, they eventually did, but I mean, it really spoke to them. I mean, it's just another way to tell this story.
Yeah, I don't think a majority of my Christian friends or people out there who are Christians will be offended by this at all. But you're right, Todd. It does sort of have a little bit more sympathetic view towards Judas, if that's a fair way of saying it, and just a different take. And it's just I just think it's curious that you've played the role twice in very different. Right.
Well, it's different, and the thing about Jesus Christ Superstar, in difference from like Godspell. Throughout Godspell, they quote the scripture through the whole Godspell, and through Jesus Christ Superstar, I'm not sure we even say a line of scripture.
No,
I don't think there's a line of scripture in
Very
Jesus Christ
different.
Superstar.
It's more of a psychological study.
Well, it's more about two. It's more about two guys. It's two guys and their friendship and the difference that they both saw.
Interesting.
Going on, and I mean, it's very human.
Yeah.
It's just very human, a more human take on it, I
So
think.
that must just take an enormous amount of energy and training to sing rock music for the whole play, no break. No, as Brad described, there's really no dialogue in this. How do you cope with that?
Well, this was way out of my comfort zone. Yeah. When Brad talked to me about this, to come in and to sing especially to sing like rock music. And then to top it off, all of Judas's songs are very, very rocky. There's not a I sing no ballads, so there's no ballads.
So you're shouting at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, so everything that I sing is very, it's very rocky. So it's a matter of it takes a psychological to get yourself up for that, and to keep yourself healthy, because it's there's no going back. Once you start, and there's no going back. So.
Well, Brad, where are you setting the play? Are you setting it in biblical times? Are you doing something different?
No, we have a semi sort of biblical stylized set, but it's more urban. We've got a great graffiti artist that is just really just tagging the heck out of the stage.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's brilliant. I mean, it looks great. So it's very urban. We're keeping kind of the center of the stage very pure and relatively clean, but as it goes outwards, it just the graffiti, tagging, and the set kind of falls apart a little bit. Just that decay.
What about the
society.
costumes? Do you follow it through with contemporary costumes?
Yeah, contemporary costumes, cargo pants, white tees.
Oh, how interesting.
Work gloves. I mean, all those guys were. Those apostles, they were just workers.
Yes.
I mean, they were fishermen. I mean, they were, as far as I'm concerned, they were contractors, truck drivers, laborers. I mean, that's what they were. And I thought, well, I think let's just do it that way.
And just to remind our audience, the theater is actually there on the North Campus at St. Francis, across the street from the main campus. It's a very nice, modernized former church or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the interesting things that you guys are doing is you're actually having an art exhibit, the St. John Bible, which is going on in the Lupke Gallery, right? And you can tell us a little bit about that.
It's a great. It works great with our production. It's the St. John's Bible exhibit. We've got about 15, 16 different panels of these prints, these illuminated, illustrated prints, and the writing, the calligraphy. I mean, it's incredible art. As well as, I think they've got a book that's the size of this table.
Wow.
That's all handwritten out, and the artwork down the sides of it that's on display.
So the audience can actually go out and see that at intermission.
At intermission.
And that's featured with also the works of Art Sislow, who is a professor there at St. Francis.
Correct.
And so it's kind of nice that you guys sort of line that up. Well, I also have to remind our viewers that, first of all, Jesus Christ Superstar opens up on March 25th up at University of St. Francis, and it plays for 2 weeks. And I think it's kind of interesting that the Civic Theater is also doing Godspell. So, if you want to follow few of the things that Todd was talking about and see the very different takes on a similar theme, one can do that. But guys, it's all the time we have. I wish you the best. I look forward to seeing Jesus Christ Superstar at St. Francis, and I wish you both best performances.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For more information about when you can see Jesus Christ Superstar and visit the Lupke Gallery, please visit sf.edu or call 399-7700. Arts Weekly will return in a moment.